Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua. So I credit myself for creating this whole Life After Maceration series here on YouTube. Yes, I did. It's been over 2 years since I did my first maceration series, and over the course of the period, I've learned so much about the term maceration. I understand it is not a proper term. Maceration is a process. I'm not going to go into details. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a perfumer. But I understand the term maceration, although a lot of us have been using it loosely and to mean aging for fragrances, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrances. I understand we should rather go with the term maturation because it's aging after the process of bottling and packaging and everything. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to go into that. So I think I'll be incorporating the word maturation a lot more in this maceration series, but I prefer the word aging. I think aging is just simple. Everybody will just remember. So in this particular video, I want to give you a sort of update about 4 fragrances, and I'm going to consider these amongst some of my least favorite fragrances that I didn't give any positive reviews about. I don't think my first review about these 4 were the best because I didn't like them. I don't think these fragrances were good, but some have sat for as long as 7-8 months, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And I'm here to give you some updates. And I'm going to start with Raneen from Ashdaf or Lattafa. I mean, sister companies. So this, I remember I gave my first review. I went back to my videos. It's dated the 12th of April, so almost 2 months now. And if you go by anything I said during that video, I'm still going to stand by it. I still do not like this fragrance. I don't think it was well made. I think it was quite cheaply made. I went to Fragrantica. At the time I did a review, it was not uploaded, but now it's being added on Fragrantica and it's being compared to Prada Paradox Intense. I don't really get exact similarities. I don't think this fragrance was well made. I feel like it's very cheap smelling. I still stand by that. Personally, I would not recommend it. I think it's supposed to be this grapefruit or passion fruit. There's something fruity, tart, but it's not only well blended to my nose, it's very cheap. I would say the fragrance by itself is very affordable, very cheap, maybe around $25, but I think it is still not worth it in as much as it's been compared. And I think I've seen quite a number of people praising Raneen. It is not my cup of tea. I will not personally recommend it. It's been almost 2 months. I don't see this one getting any better, although I'm still going to wait on this for maybe additional few months and report. But it's one of those fragrances I would say it is very affordable, but it is not worth it. There are several other fragrances like the new Malika, maybe around the same scent profile, but this was sort of cheaply made. There's something screechy. It opens up with this, even after 2 months, it opens up with this heavy alcohol thing that just goes straight into your head. I tried this thing yesterday. As soon as it's even on my hand, but as soon as I just put my hand on my nose, something just flew from my hand straight to the back of my head. There's something quite alcoholic. It's just generally not a fragrance I'll personally recommend. I don't think it was well done. So for whatever others have said about it, I think I hold a different view altogether. I would say it is very affordable, but just in my opinion, you don't have to waste your money on this, and that is going to be my sort of update about Raneen. I'm not just a fan. Let me move on to one that was also a problem for me, and that is Cake Temptation from Paris Corner. This I think I've given an additional update aside the review that I did. It's been about 7, almost 8 months now since I got my hand on Cake Temptation by Paris Corner. I was super excited about this, when I saw the ads coming out, but it's still the same for me. Has it improved? Slightly. To me, to my nose, slightly. It's still quite synthetic. It's supposed to have these berries, strawberries, and these red berries. I get them, but they are still quite synthetic, to my nose. It's much more better smelling now. But even at the current state, I don't see myself pulling this out in any way. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to anyone. I don't see myself wearing this no matter how well macerated. I can give it like a year more. It just gives off a synthetic vibe. The red berries, the strawberries that I perceive in this one, it smells like cake, you know. Somehow it smells like cake. It gives me vibes of the cake. What's the name? I've forgotten the name, but I'll put it on the screen. It gives me that vibe of Spanish vanilla by Rehab. It gives me that vibe. It also somehow reminds me of Pink Sugar, the original one, you know, the one with the cotton candy and strawberry. But this one is much more synthetic to my nose. And there's something about it, like the bent rubber, bent tire accord that I get in it. And for that reason, I'm still going to maintain the fact that I'm not a fan of Cake Temptation. I'm also not going to recommend it. There are several fragrances in this category like Pink Sugar and other very heavy. I think I recently reviewed Tabby's Pink Sugar. It's a very beautiful fragrance. So you might want to get that one or look into that instead of Cake Temptation. For me, it is a feel. I will just consider this one a feel. Next is going to be Cupcake from Rehab, and this is going to be another update. It's also been around 7 or 8 months since I've had my hand on this. It doesn't smell, I think they were going for the whole Lyra vibe. It gives you that sort of Lyra Empire Victor sort of feel, but it's filled at that, you know. It's very synthetic at the opening, not well blended. It smells cheap. It doesn't come across as something I want to utilize. When I initially got this, I was like trying to use it to see if it has changed over time. So I actually used this fragrance, but in as much as I would say it has improved scent-wise, it still comes across as squishy, cheaply made. It feels like cheaply made to me. It smells like a dishwashing soap with some vanilla and a slight lemon. It's like lemon dishwashing soap and some vanilla. I get that. And it's not pleasant as a fragrance. I think I find them useful for other things. If this was to be a dishwashing soap, cool. If Cake Temptation was to be like a candle, I think if Cake Temptation was to be a candle, it probably would have made a lot of sense or much more sense, although I don't think it would have been my favorite candle. But it gives me that waxy, piercing thing that sometimes those cheaply made candles, you know, smell like. It gives me a feel that it could have been a better candle than a fragrance. And this one feels like it would have been a better dishwashing soap or something than a fragrance. And then I'm going to go with this particular one that is going to be the last one, and it's quite new, or it's one of the newest to my collection. But this, to me, it's a no. Dolce, Belle Dolce from Fragrance World. I mean, the scent, you can't even determine what exactly you're smelling. It's like a concoction of some fruits, some synthetic nuances to it. Supposedly, it's inspired by Zejov's Cora, which I'm not familiar with, but I understand it's supposed to be around the Herba Pura DNA. I don't get anything Herba Pura-ish about this at all. It doesn't smell nice, you know. It doesn't smell like a fragrance you would want to waste your money on, at least to me. I will also not recommend this one. It looks good, the presentation, you know, it looks good, but it's a no for me. There is a flanker to this known as Bella something something in the red bottle, which I have not tried, but I understand that is inspired by Eating Juicy Apple by Kayali. I have not tried that, so I'll not be able to speak to that. But this particular one is a flanker I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of all the 4 fragrances I've featured in this particular video. They have sat for months, except this one that is just a couple of weeks old. The rest have been with me for some months, and I'm still not a fan of them. So these are going to be my maturation aging updates I wanted to give to these 4 fragrances. And yeah, that is going to be it for today. Not a fan, not a fan, not a fan. So yeah, I hope to see you in my next one, and I hope this video found you well. Let me know in the comment section if you have any of these fragrances and your personal honest opinion about them. I just want to know. Just because I'm saying I do not like them or they have not aged well does not mean they are not going to work for other people. I've seen several other reviews where people are praising some of these fragrances highly, but for me it is a no, and I will not recommend them. And I hope to see you in my next one, so please take care. Okay, bye.